The RMS Titanic, a name synonymous with tragedy, mystery, and enduring fascination. This luxurious ocean liner, hailed as a marvel of engineering and a symbol of human ambition, met a tragic end on its maiden voyage in 1912. The story of the Titanic has captivated the world for over a century, inspiring countless books, films, and documentaries. The image of the unsinkable ship sinking beneath the waves, claiming the lives of over 1,500 souls, continues to haunt our collective memory. Yet, even after all these years, questions remain. Questions that fuel speculation, ignite debate, and challenge the official narrative. What if the ship we believe to be the Titanic, resting silently on the ocean floor, is not the real Titanic at all? The Titanic Switch Theory, a controversial and persistent theory, proposes a daring and almost unbelievable scenario. What if the White Star Line, the company that owned the Titanic, orchestrated a grand deception, switching the Titanic with its near-identical sister ship, the Olympic? This theory, while dismissed by many as an elaborate hoax, has gained traction over the years, fueled by intriguing pieces of evidence and unanswered questions. It's a story of corporate greed, maritime mystery, and a tragedy that continues to resonate today. Through this exploration of the Titanic Switch Theory, we will delve into the historical context, examine the evidence, and analyze the arguments both for and against this compelling conspiracy. This is not just a story about a shipwreck. It's about the enduring power of mystery, the allure of conspiracy, and the human need to find answers, even in the face of tragedy. Join us as we embark on a journey to unravel one of the most intriguing maritime mysteries of all time. Prepare to question everything you thought you knew about the Titanic, and brace yourself for a story that is as captivating as it is controversial. In the early 20th century, the world marveled at the dawn of a new era in ocean travel. The RMS Titanic, a name forever etched in history, embodied this era of unprecedented technological advancement and ambition. This colossal vessel, the largest ship of its time, was more than just a mode of transportation. It was a floating palace, a testament to human ingenuity, and a symbol of luxury and grandeur. The Titanic, along with her sister ship, the Olympic, represented the pinnacle of shipbuilding, capturing the imagination of people around the globe. These magnificent vessels, products of the renowned Harland and Wolff shipyard in Belfast, Ireland, were designed to be the epitome of comfort, speed, and opulence. The Titanic, in particular, was hailed as the unsinkable ship, a testament to the belief that technology had triumphed over nature. Her lavish interiors, designed to rival the finest hotels, catered to the elite and affluent, offering an unparalleled experience of transatlantic travel. First-class passengers could indulge in luxurious staterooms, dine in opulent restaurants, and socialize in grand salons, while even those traveling in second class enjoyed amenities that surpassed the norms of the time. The Titanic's ill-fated maiden voyage, commencing on April 10, 1912, was met with great fanfare and excitement. The ship, carrying over 2,200 passengers and crew, embarked on its journey from Southampton, England, destined for New York City. Little did anyone know that this voyage, meant to be a celebration of human achievement, would soon transform into one of the most devastating maritime disasters in history. The unsinkable Titanic, on a calm and clear night, would meet its tragic end in the icy depths of the North Atlantic, forever altering the course of maritime history. The sinking of the Titanic sent shockwaves around the world. The tragedy, claiming the lives of over 1,500 men, women, and children, left an indelible mark on the collective consciousness. In the aftermath of the disaster, as the world grappled with the enormity of the loss, questions arose, demanding answers. How could a ship deemed unsinkable meet such a catastrophic end? Was it simply a tragic accident, a confluence of unfortunate circumstances, or was there something more sinister at play? From the ashes of this tragedy, a conspiracy theory emerged, one that would challenge the official narrative and captivate the imaginations of truth-seekers for generations to come. This theory, known as the Titanic Switch Theory, posits a daring and elaborate insurance scam orchestrated by the White Star Line. At the heart of this theory lies the Olympic, the Titanic's near-identical sister ship. Launched a year before the Titanic, the Olympic had been involved in a significant collision with a British warship, the HMS Hawke, in 1911. While the Olympic remained afloat, the damage was extensive, and the incident proved to be a financial blow to the White Star Line, particularly in the face of denied insurance claims. This is where the conspiracy takes root. Proponents of the Titanic Switch Theory suggest that the White Star Line saw an opportunity amidst the wreckage of the Olympic. They propose that the company, motivated by financial gain, hatched a plan to secretly switch the damaged Olympic with the Titanic, effectively sacrificing the latter to collect a hefty insurance payout. This audacious scheme, if true, would involve a complex and clandestine operation, requiring the complicity of shipyard workers, crew members, and possibly even government officials. The theory further suggests that the Titanic that set sail on that fateful night was, in reality, the damaged Olympic, deliberately steered towards a known ice field with a plan in place for a controlled sinking and subsequent rescue of the passengers and crew. To grasp the essence of the Titanic Switch Theory, one must first delve into the intertwined stories of the Olympic and the Titanic. These two majestic vessels, often referred to as sister ships, shared a lineage that extended beyond their shared blueprints. Built by the renowned shipbuilding firm Harland and Wolff in Belfast, Ireland, the Olympic-class liners were a testament to human ingenuity and ambition, embodying the spirit of progress that defined the early 20th century. Conceived as a trio of ocean liners, Olympic, Titanic, and Britannic, they were intended to be the crown jewels of the White Star Line, dominating the transatlantic passenger trade and solidifying the company's reputation for luxury and grandeur. The Olympic, the elder of the two, was launched on October 20th, 1910, marking a pivotal moment in maritime history. Her massive size, opulent interiors, and advanced technological features captivated the world, setting a new standard for ocean travel. The Titanic, following closely behind, was launched on May 31st, 1911, further cementing the White Star Line's dominance in the race for the largest and most luxurious ships afloat. These two vessels, nearly identical in appearance and design, were more than just ships. They were floating cities, carrying the dreams and aspirations of thousands across the Atlantic. The similarities between the Olympic and the Titanic were striking. Both measured over 882 feet in length and boasted a gross tonnage of over 45,000. Their profiles, characterized by 4 towering funnels and a sleek, streamlined design, were virtually indistinguishable to the untrained eye. Internally, both ships were marvels of Edwardian elegance, featuring grand staircases, opulent dining saloons, and luxurious staterooms adorned with the finest furnishings and amenities. To the outside world, the Olympic and the Titanic were symbols of human achievement, representing the pinnacle of maritime engineering and the allure of a bygone era of opulence and grandeur. Despite their shared heritage and striking resemblance, subtle differences existed between the Olympic and the Titanic, distinctions that have fueled the flames of conspiracy theories for over a century. These differences, often minute and easily overlooked, have become points of contention for those who believe that the ship that sank on that fateful night was not the Titanic at all, but rather her slightly older sister, the Olympic, disguised and deliberately sent to her doom. These discrepancies, ranging from variations in deck layout to subtle differences in the ship's superstructure, have become the bedrock upon which the Titanic Switch Theory is built. One of the most frequently cited pieces of evidence put forth by proponents of the Switch Theory concerns the promenade deck. On the Titanic, the forward portion of this deck, an area where first-class passengers could stroll and enjoy the sea air, was enclosed with a glass screen, a modification not present on the Olympic. This seemingly minor alteration, intended to provide additional shelter from the elements, has become a focal point for those who believe that the wreck of the Titanic, which appears to show an open promenade deck, is evidence of a switch. Further fueling the conspiracy are discrepancies in the number and placement of portholes on the ship's B-decks. Photographs taken of the two vessels prior to the Titanic's maiden voyage appear to show variations in the arrangement of these portholes, with some seemingly missing or positioned differently. While these differences could be attributed to photographic angles or minor modifications made during the Titanic's construction, they have nonetheless provided fodder for speculation, leading some to conclude that the ships were indeed swapped. The debate over these and other subtle discrepancies continues to this day, with proponents of the switch theory pointing to them as irrefutable evidence of a grand conspiracy. Beyond the more subtle discrepancies in deck layout and porthole placement, other purported differences between the Olympic and the Titanic have been scrutinized and debated by researchers and enthusiasts alike. One such difference relates to the ships' names themselves. While both vessels had their names prominently displayed on their hulls, the lettering used for the Titanic's name was reportedly slightly different from that used for the Olympic. Photographs of the two ships taken side by side appear to show a variation in the font size and spacing of the letters, a detail that, while seemingly insignificant, has been seized upon as further evidence of a switch. Another point of contention revolves around the ship's interiors. While both vessels were renowned for their opulent accommodations and luxurious amenities, subtle differences have been noted in the layout and furnishings of certain areas. For instance, the Titanic's a la carte restaurant, a luxurious dining venue reserved for first-class passengers, was reportedly decorated in a slightly different style than its counterpart on the Olympic. These variations, while potentially attributable to minor design changes made during the Titanic's construction, have nonetheless fueled speculation, with some suggesting that they point to a deliberate attempt to disguise one ship as the other. The debate over these and other purported differences between the Olympic and the Titanic is likely to continue for years to come. While some dismiss these discrepancies as insignificant or easily explained, others view them as compelling evidence of a carefully orchestrated conspiracy. The passage of time, coupled with the deterioration of the wreck itself, has made it increasingly difficult to definitively prove or disprove the switch theory, leaving the mystery of the Titanic and her near-identical sister ship shrouded in an aura of intrigue and speculation. As the White Star Line grappled with the financial and logistical nightmare of the Olympic's repairs, a glimmer of opportunity emerged from the shipyards of Harland and Wolff. The Titanic, the Olympic's near-identical sister ship, was nearing completion. Her opulent interiors were being fitted, her powerful engines were being tested, and her maiden voyage, scheduled for the following spring, was eagerly anticipated by the world. The Titanic, representing the pinnacle of shipbuilding technology and the epitome of luxury travel, was poised to capture the imagination of the world and solidify the White Star Line's dominance in the transatlantic passenger trade. The Titanic's impending completion presented the White Star Line with a unique and tantalizing possibility. What if some within the company began to whisper they could somehow utilize the Titanic to offset the financial losses incurred by the Olympic's collision? The two ships, nearly indistinguishable to the untrained eye, were, in essence, interchangeable assets. Could they, through some clandestine maneuver, swap the identities of the two vessels, effectively sacrificing the newer, more valuable Titanic to collect a hefty insurance payout on the damaged Olympic? This audacious idea, whispered in hushed tones in the corridors of power, would require a carefully orchestrated and highly secretive operation. It would necessitate the complicity of shipyard workers, crew members, and possibly even government officials. Evidence of the switch would have to be erased, and any discrepancies in the ship's identities would have to be explained away. The risks were enormous, the potential consequences dire. Yet the potential rewards, in the eyes of a company facing financial ruin, were too great to ignore. The financial pressures on the White Star Line, the striking similarities between the Olympic and the Titanic, and the tantalizing possibility of a clandestine switch. These factors, taken together, planted the seeds of what would become one of the most enduring maritime conspiracy theories of all time. The Titanic Switch Theory, whispered in the aftermath of the tragedy and fueled by decades of speculation and research, proposes that the White Star Line, motivated by greed and desperation, orchestrated a grand deception, sacrificing the Titanic to save the Olympic and salvage their financial standing. The theory, while lacking irrefutable proof, is woven from a tapestry of intriguing coincidences, alleged discrepancies in the ship's designs, and unexplained events surrounding the disaster. It posits that the White Star Line, under the direction of its managing director J. Bruce Ismay, saw an opportunity in the Olympic's misfortune. They could, the theory suggests, switch the identities of the two ships, send the damaged Olympic, disguised as the Titanic, on a doomed voyage and collect a massive insurance payout. This audacious plan, if indeed it was a plan and not a product of speculation, would require meticulous planning and a conspiracy of silence among those involved. The switch, according to the theory, would have taken place while both ships were in dry dock, with workers toiling under a veil of secrecy to transfer identifying markers, alter minor details in the ship's structures, and ensure that the illusion was convincing. The success of such an operation would hinge on secrecy, deception, and a calculated gamble that the truth would never be uncovered. The alleged switch of the Olympic and the Titanic, if it indeed transpired, would have been a masterpiece of logistical planning and covert execution. The sheer scale of the operation, involving the clandestine alteration of two of the largest vessels afloat, boggles the mind and strains credulity. Yet, proponents of the theory point to a series of purported events and anomalies, suggesting that the switch was not only possible, but was actually carried out with meticulous care and precision. The first phase of this alleged operation would have involved the secret refitting of the damaged Olympic. While the ship was undergoing repairs for the damage sustained in the collision with the HMS Hawk, workers would have been instructed to make subtle but significant alterations to the ship's structure and appearance. These alterations, according to the theory, included changing the nameplates on the ship's hull, altering the configuration of portholes, and even modifying the layout of certain interior spaces to match those of the Titanic. Simultaneously, the Titanic, nearing completion in a nearby dry dock, would have undergone a parallel process of subtle alteration. Her nameplates would have been switched with those of the Olympic, her porthole configuration adjusted, and any other distinguishing features modified to complete the illusion. This intricate dance of deception, carried out under the veil of secrecy, would have required the complicity of a large number of workers, all sworn to silence and motivated by a combination of fear and financial incentives. With the Olympic disguised as the Titanic and the Titanic refitted to resemble the damaged Olympic, the stage was set for the final act of this alleged maritime deception. The Titanic, now bearing the name and outward appearance of her older sister, would embark on her maiden voyage, a voyage meticulously planned, according to the theory, to end in a controlled sinking. The passengers, oblivious to the deception and caught up in the excitement of sailing on the unsinkable ship, would become unwitting pawns in a deadly game of corporate greed. The location of the sinking, according to proponents of the switch theory, was no accident. The ship, they argue, was deliberately steered towards a known ice field, a calculated risk designed to ensure the Titanic's demise while minimizing the risk of encountering other vessels that might interfere with the plan or raise suspicions. The presence of the SS Californian, a ship that reportedly remained stationary near the Titanic's position throughout the night of the sinking, has further fueled speculation, with some suggesting that the Californian was part of a prearranged rescue plan. The aftermath of the sinking, with its tragic loss of life and the ensuing chaos and confusion, would have provided the perfect cover for the perpetrators of the alleged switch. The world, mourning the loss of the Titanic and focused on the heroism of the survivors, would have been none the wiser to the deception, allowing the White Star Line to collect the insurance payout and escape scrutiny. The truth, buried beneath the waves with the wreckage of the Titanic, would remain hidden, a secret shared only by those who planned and executed the grand deception. The Titanic Switch Theory, if we are to entertain its possibility, hinges not only on a daring plan and meticulous execution, but also on an equally audacious cover-up. For such a grand deception to succeed, a conspiracy of silence would have been essential. Those who knew the truth, from the shipyard workers who carried out the alterations to the crew members who sailed on the doomed voyage, would have been compelled to remain silent, their silence bought with a combination of threats and rewards. The White Star Line, with its vast resources and influence, would have been in a position to enforce this silence. Workers who spoke out could be discredited, their claims dismissed as the ramblings of disgruntled employees or those seeking notoriety. Crew members who dared to question the official narrative could find their careers in jeopardy, their reputations tarnished, their voices silenced by the weight of corporate power. The official inquiries into the Titanic disaster, while uncovering flaws in maritime regulations and safety procedures, failed to unearth any conclusive evidence of a conspiracy. The White Star Line, represented by its managing director, J. Bruce Ismay, emerged from the inquiries largely unscathed, their version of events accepted as the truth. The whispers of a switch, of a grand deception, were relegated to the realm of speculation and conspiracy theories, dismissed by those in authority and largely ignored by a public eager to move on from the tragedy. The Titanic Switch Theory, while dismissed by many as a fantastical tale woven from speculation and conjecture, finds its most ardent supporters among those who believe that the evidence, though circumstantial, paints a compelling picture of a grand deception. They point to a series of anomalies, discrepancies, and unexplained events, suggesting that the ship that sank on that fateful night was not the Titanic, but rather her older sister, the Olympic, disguised and deliberately sent to her doom. These pieces of evidence, like scattered puzzle pieces when assembled, form a narrative that, while incomplete, is nonetheless intriguing and suggestive. The proponents of the switch theory readily acknowledge that their case rests largely on circumstantial evidence. The passage of time, the deterioration of the wreck itself, and the potential for human error in documenting the details of both ships have made it difficult to definitively prove or disprove the theory beyond a shadow of a doubt. Yet, they argue that the sheer number of anomalies, Combined with the White Star Line's financial motivations and the logistical plausibility of such a switch, warrant serious consideration of the possibility that the Titanic disaster was not simply a tragic accident, but a carefully orchestrated event. The evidence for the switch theory encompasses a wide range of sources, from structural discrepancies between the two ships to eyewitness accounts that contradict the official narrative. Some of this evidence is more compelling than others, and some can be explained away as coincidence or misinterpretation. However, when taken together, these pieces of evidence create a narrative that is both intriguing and unsettling, raising questions that continue to fascinate and fuel speculation even a century after the Titanic's tragic demise. Section 3. Photographic evidence. Images of intrigue and speculation. Photographs have played a pivotal role in shaping the narrative surrounding the Titanic Switch Theory. Proponents point to images captured before and after the disaster as evidence that the ship that sank was not the Titanic, but her older sister, the Olympic. One compelling piece of evidence is a series of images taken during the Titanic's construction, showing a ship with a noticeably different profile. Skeptics argue these differences can be attributed to the angle of the photographs or the stage of construction. Adding to the intrigue are photographs of the wreckage, showing markings that appear to correspond to the Olympic's hull number. These markings have been the subject of much scrutiny and debate. Section 4. Eyewitness accounts. Tales of confusion and contradiction. Eyewitness accounts from survivors, crew members, and those who witnessed the ship's departure present a complex tapestry of observations. While many align with the official narrative, others contain discrepancies and curious details that have fueled speculation. Some survivors recalled seeing a ship in the distance on the night of the sinking, believed to be the Californian. However, the Californian's logbook and crew accounts contradicted these claims. Other accounts focus on the behavior of the Titanic's crew, with some survivors reporting unusual anxiety and urgency. These accounts contribute to the narrative that the sinking was not simply a tragic accident but a deliberate act. The Titanic's maiden voyage was poised to be the social event of the season. The guest list read like a who's who of the era's elite. Yet, in the days leading up to the departure, a number of high-profile passengers mysteriously canceled their trips. These cancellations added an unsettling layer of intrigue to the voyage. Some were attributed to sudden illnesses or family emergencies, while others remained unexplained. Among the missing magnates were influential figures whose absence raised eyebrows and fueled speculation. No figure looms larger in the Titanic Switch Theory than John Pierpont Morgan. Morgan had been instrumental in the formation of the International Mercantile Marine Company, which controlled the White Star Line. He had booked passage on the Titanic's maiden voyage, but abruptly canceled his trip, citing health reasons. The cancellation raised eyebrows, given Morgan's reputation for rarely altering his plans. Adding to the intrigue, Morgan had reportedly received warnings of potential danger on the voyage. Some speculate that Morgan had received inside information about the alleged switch. Others maintain that the warnings were simply the product of concern from friends and associates. The last-minute cancellations of J.P. Morgan and other prominent figures have provided fertile ground for speculation. Proponents of the Titanic Switch Theory point to these events as evidence that the White Star Line had deliberately misled certain passengers. The theory suggests that Morgan may have been privy to the alleged switch. His cancellation takes on a more sinister tone, suggesting he chose to protect his own interests. Other prominent figures may have received similar warnings or financial incentives. These whispers, while lacking concrete evidence, continue to fuel the public's fascination with the Titanic. Section 4. The Silent Witness. The SS Californian's Enigma. One question has haunted maritime historians. Where was the SS Californian? The Californian was reportedly in close proximity to the Titanic on the night of the sinking, but failed to respond to distress rockets. The ship's captain and crew maintained they were too far away to see the signals. However, several Titanic survivors claimed to have seen a ship nearby that failed to respond. Proponents of the Titanic Switch Theory suggest that the Californian may have been part of a prearranged plan. Section 2. The Titanic's Legacy. A timeless tale of tragedy and humanity. The Titanic, forever frozen in time on the icy depths of the Atlantic, stands as a poignant reminder of both the heights of human ambition and the fragility of human life. The ship, once a symbol of technological prowess and opulence, has become an enduring icon of tragedy, a cautionary tale of hubris and the perils of underestimating the forces of nature. The Titanic story, passed down through generations in books, films, and songs, continues to resonate with audiences around the world, captivating our imaginations and reminding us of the enduring power of the human spirit in the face of adversity. While the Titanic Switch Theory may continue to intrigue and spark debate, it is essential to remember that at the heart of this tragedy lie the stories of the over 1,500 individuals who lost their lives on that fateful night. Men, women, and children from all walks of life, each with their own dreams, aspirations, and loved ones, perished in the icy waters, their lives cut short by a disaster that shook the world and forever changed the course of maritime history. Their stories, often overshadowed by the grand narratives of conspiracy and speculation, deserve to be remembered and honored. The legacy of the Titanic extends beyond the tragedy itself. The disaster spurred significant advancements in maritime safety regulations, including the establishment of the International Ice Patrol, which monitors icebergs in the North Atlantic shipping lanes, and the requirement for ships to carry enough lifeboats for all passengers and crew. These reforms, implemented in response to the Titanic's tragic fate, have undoubtedly saved countless lives in the decades since, ensuring that the lessons learned from that fateful night would not be forgotten. The Titanic, while lost to the depths, continues to serve as a beacon, guiding us towards a safer and more responsible future on the seas.